कह दो हाय 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 हाय, जो दिल ना लगे उसे कह दो बाय 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 बाय। आने दो दिल में आ जाने दो, कह दो मुस्कुराहट को हाय 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 हाय। जाने दो दिल से चले जाने दो, कह दो घबराहट को बाय 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 बाय।
Love you जिंदगी, love you जिंदगी, love you जिंदगी, love me जिंदगी।
Small girl, big world, they might say to you, but I won't live by someone else's rules. When they knock me down, my crew will pick me up. Yeah, we keep each other strong with love, love. All my girls unite, rocking side by side, watch my team work every day and night. Yeah, we're shining with our teamwork. Oh, my girls unite. No, we do it right when my team work every day and night. Yeah, we're shining, yeah. Watch my team work. Watch my team work. Watch my team work.
ਉਹ ਛੱਡ ਨਫ਼ਰਤ ਨੂੰ ਤੂੰ ਯਾਰਾ, ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਏ ਮੇਰਾ ਢੋਲ ਮੱਚਦਾ। ਉਹ ਪਿਆਰ ਹੀ ਤਾਂ ਸਭ ਦਾ ਸਹਾਰਾ, ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਏ ਮੇਰਾ ਢੋਲ ਮੱਚਦਾ।
प्यार तू सबनू कर लेना, हाथ बढ़ा के फड़ लेना, गले से लगा ले दोबारा।
Hi everyone, my name is Anushka,
And I'm Srihari.
and welcome to UTSAV 2022.
So before we get started, just some quick house rules. 1, please keep your cameras off and your mics muted. And if you're going to leave a comment, please make sure it's respectful. Also, a quick note, because we are on Zoom this year, this is a little bit different. Please bear with us if there's a little bit of delay with our cameras or visual.
We will now like if everyone could stand up for the Indian and American National Anthem. Up first, we will have Leah and Yashwant singing the American National Anthem, and Supriya and Niranjana singing the Indian National Anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तव जय गाता जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे.
Thank you so much, Yashwant, Leah, Niranjan, and Supriya. We will now like to call on stage Sumityanti to speak a little bit more about Pragnya.
Jai Sriman Narayana. Simate Ramanujaya Namaha. President Franklin Roosevelt once said, "We cannot always build a great future for our youth, but we can build our youth for the future." If VT Seva is a platform where we transform knowledge into actions, VT Seva's sister organization Pragnya is a place where we imbibe that knowledge through well-drafted courses starting at a tender age of 5. In Pragnya, we chant shlokas that energize us, learn through inspirational stories of role models, dig deeper into our scriptures, and build strong personalities as they march into the world as young adults. A great testimonial to that is our VT Seva Youth Board members, some of whom were once Pragnya students. So today, to pay our respects to all that is happening in the world, especially in Ukraine, our Pragnya students will chant the peace prayer. But to get started, I invite our resident guru, Sri Srinivas Kedamji, to light the lamp.
Om
अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः ॐ नमः परमऋषिभ्यो नमः परमऋषिभ्यः ॐ नमः परमऋषिभ्यो नमः परमऋषिभ्यः ॐ पूर्णमिदं पूर्णमदः पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ ईशावास्यम् इदगुं सर्वं यत्किञ्च जगत्यां जगत् तेन त्यक्तेन भुञ्जीताः मामृतः स्विदिनम् ॐ काश्यपान्वयसञ्जातं नारायणपदाश्रितं श्रीमन्नारायणं वन्दे यतीश्वरश्रियादृशम् ॐ जय श्रीमन्नारायण.
Namaste and good afternoon. On behalf of all of us here from Seattle, I extend my warmest welcome to each and every one of you to UTSAV Seattle's 11th annual event, UTSAV. From the bottom of our hearts, we thank you for coming, taking time to tune in and giving us a true meaning for UTSAV. It truly is a celebration for all of us and all those hundreds of underprivileged kids that we together have empowered. Your presence means a lot to us. We are part of the BT Seva youth team. While all the other members were so busy organizing and coordinating for this event, we were getting bored. So we decided to be your MCs for tonight.
Lucky you guys.
Hi, my name is Ananya, and this here is Marwan. You know, Marwan, I'm a huge fan of the Harry Potter series, and especially how J.K. Rowling, who takes us on these wonderful places using her imagination. And she mentions, there's always room for a story that can transport people to another place. With your permission, I would like to kick off this wonderful evening with a small story. This is an old story, and I'm pretty sure you might have heard it before. The people and circumstances differ slightly, but the core lessons remain the same. I hope the twist I've put on them inspires you to think a little differently. A little boy named Marwan lives in a beautiful home with his parents. One day, his father finds him crying and asks if something's wrong. Marwan says gently, "I have so many problems in life," and then talks about his problems. Marwan's father patiently listens to him, and then brings a bowl and places a potato, an egg, and some coffee beans. Then he asks Marwan to touch and feel the ingredients he placed in the bowl and asks him what he feels about them. Marwan describes how he feels about each and every one of them. His father smiles and asks Marwan to place them in all 3 different bowls and pour water in them. He then boils them all. After a few minutes, the father turns off the stove and places all the bowls on the counter to cool them down. When they have cooled down, Marwan's father asks him to touch them once again and asks to feel the egg, potato, and the coffee beans. Marwan has a different answer this time, and when he says that the potato skin is easy to peel as it turns very soft, the egg has hardened, and there's a fresh aroma from the coffee beans. Listening to Marwan, his father smiles and tells him how the potato, the egg, and the coffee beans reacted to adverse situations. The potato has become very soft, the egg has turned very strong, and the coffee beans have changed their form entirely. Here, the moral of the story is that problems are a part of life. How we react to them makes us a better individual. I'm sure you would all agree that the year 2021 has changed the world in a way that we never would have expected. People from all over the world and all walks of life have faced many hardships, many lives lost, and many lessons learned. Many industries struggled, and especially nonprofit organizations struggled to support their service activities or raise any funds to support the core pillars of life. There was a point in time where we could not do any of the activities in serving our communities. I relate to the condition, to the story, just as I mentioned. The environments that we find ourselves in, like a pot of boiling hot water, can change, weaken, or strengthen us and test who we truly are. We can be like the coffee bean and discover the power inside of us to transform our environment and spread the wonderful aroma. That's exactly what we've become. We took that opportunity to conduct so many online activities to raise awareness and to conduct online activities to do cultural programs and raise funds too. We are very grateful for each and every one of you. With your support and encouragement, we truly made a difference in the lives of hundreds of children by providing them with education and empowerment. We started UTSAV 11 years ago with the goal to empower 60 children. 11 years later, with your support, we were able to empower 519 children this year. Yes, we have come a long way, but there's a long way we have to go, and we are very certain that we'll keep going with your encouragement. From the bottom of our hearts, thank you. We are very grateful to meet all of you in this hybrid model to celebrate our 11th annual event, UTSAV.
You know, I have a bad feeling about this. Before this, Ananya said that she would be starting the event with a joke, and then she introduced me. And just to clarify, that story is not a true story, okay? I did not ask those questions to my dad. In fact, my dad doesn't even allow eggs in the house. But jokes aside, that truly is a touching story, and I agree that it really depicts how we all felt during the pandemic, but also how we used going online to our advantage to make a difference to communities both nationwide and even worldwide. Before I go into today's program, I've got something important to say. I was told to be accurate and brief, so please be seated. I promise that I will try to be as brief as possible, no matter how long it takes. We have an excellent line of programs slated for today, along with our A+ entertainment, of course. So, without any further ado, I would like to welcome Seva Seattle Branch Director Upender Uncle to showcase how and what we did in 2021.
Namaste and welcome to everyone. This is our 11th UTSAV, as our anchors have mentioned. And today this is the first time we are trying hybrid model. For the last 2 years, because of COVID reasons, we could not do the UTSAV event. But today, it feels so great to see almost 70 people outside in the hall here, and then another 40 or 50 joined online. So thank you all for making this a great event so far. Today, as our anchors mentioned, we have raised funds for almost 520 kids, supporting our both GR Gurukulams and also our visually impaired kids in Netra Vidyalaya. So thank you for that support, generous support by all the donors here in Seattle and across the nation. So we also want to acknowledge that there are local organizations we work with, including Northwest Harvest and DESC. This is the organization which supports people in need in downtown Seattle. Also, we also want to acknowledge the fact that the world is going through turmoil right now, but at the same time, we want to showcase what's good in the society, what's good in people. That's where we are doing this celebration. And lastly, before I start, there is a 2021 project showcase. We want to show a video of all the kids. They have worked hard to pull off 10 to 12 events last year even in the lockdowns and things like that. So please roll the video.
In 2021, we have accomplished so many things in the VT Seva Seattle chapter, and we're so excited to share a few glimpses with you.
Hi, my name is Laya Lope. I'm from the Go Green / Green Mural project.
I'm Yeshwant from VT Seva Own Your Birthday.
I'm a volunteer for VT Seva from the Seattle branch.
Hi, my name is Sumedha Kanamori, and as part of the Seattle VT Seva Youth Group, I led the Eco Fundraiser project last year.
Stitch Fix is a project I initiated during the pandemic to sew and sell customizable masks.
This year I have grown Lucy plants for donations.
Due to my passion for environmental sustainability, which is one of VT Seva's main pillars, I led this project with several other volunteers where we grew plants in our own household and donated them to the community.
At Own Your Birthday, we have volunteers sign up on a sheet to celebrate their birthday with VT Seva.
This year we have made many informative, fun, and educational videos about recycling and upcycling, zero waste, composting, global warming, conservation, planting, and more.
We sewed 100% cotton fabric masks with a range of sizes meant to suit youth, kids, and adults.
Through this, we were encouraging the community around us to understand the importance of growing plants in your own backyard and encouraging nature around you, while also raising money, $2,000 for the VT Seva Fund, and educating kids in India.
We were able to sponsor education for 2 kids this year. I was very glad that my passion for sewing was put to 2 good causes, promoting safety and raising funds for the needy.
I've raised over $400 for the Netha Vidyalaya School of the Blind. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Jai Shri Manara.
Thank you. That was so inspiring, right? Although we are an integral part of the team, planning all those activities, it still gave me goosebumps watching that video. You know, coming here tonight, my mom said, "Look, Ananya, on the stage, when you're doing your emceeing, don't try to be too charming, witty, or intellectual. Just be yourself."
You know, I couldn't agree more with her.
Anyways, I would now like to welcome Aditi for our amazing next performance.
Earth is the only known planet having life in this universe. We should respect and maintain everything we get from our Mother Earth.
Performance that could have received a standing ovation had we all been in person, but since this is hybrid, I request everyone online to show their appreciation using reactions. Hey Ananya, so you know, in 2020, when everything was locked down, we got a dog. His name is Zach, and I think he's the most intelligent dog ever born.
Wow, that's a coincidence, man. We did the same thing, and I felt the exact same about my dog, Buddy.
Yeah? Well, listen to this. My dog is so clever that he waits by the front door every morning and waits for the delivery boy to deliver the newspaper and then brings it to me in the kitchen while I'm eating breakfast.
Wow, I know. My dog told me. Now moving on to our next program, we have Annika and Leia come talk about our Eco Committee highlights and Earth Project launch.
Leia, I was just reading an article, and did you know scientists say that the effects of global warming will be irreversible in the next 7 years?
Huh? What does that mean?
Well, basically, that means that in the next 7 years, the Earth is going to be too hot for some of us to live on. Not only that, sea levels will rise to the point where it can pose as a threat for human beings.
What? We need to stop that. I want to be a full adult. We need to stop that. How?
Well, first of all, you need to recycle that piece of cardboard and not throw it in the trash can. And also, make sure it actually makes it inside.
Whoops. Sorry. What else?
Well, that's what we're here to talk about today. My name is Annika.
I'm Leia, and we are the youth leads for Seva Seattle's Eco Committee.
So Earth Day is coming up, and Earth Day is really a day where we look back at all the positive and negative things we have done to affect Earth and how we can continue to live an environmentally conscious life in the future.
Okay, at the beach the other day, I saw that there was a lot of trash everywhere. That affects us, right? Not only us, it also affects helpless sea creatures.
That's right. Being environmentally conscious is super important because it affects us a lot. Think about your future children or grandchildren. If we don't do something soon, they're going to feel the negative impacts of climate change.
Well, actually, VT Seva is doing a lot of stuff to help the environment. Like, one of VT Seva's main pillars is actually environmental protection and awareness.
That's right. VT Seva does a lot of things to help the environment. In the past, VT Seva has done many projects like adopt a road cleanups, creek cleanups, and so much more. If you are interested in any of these activities, make sure to check the VTS World website to get more information.
Yep, and Annika and I have also been visiting our own projects to help go green.
So started in February 2021, VT Seva youth volunteers started the project Plant It for the Planet. In this project, VT Seva volunteers were able to raise a total of $2,500, and all of this money went towards aiding COVID relief efforts in India. In this project, youth volunteers grew a diverse number of plants and sold these plants not only to create or raise money, but also to spread environmental awareness. If you are interested in this project, we're actually starting this again, so make sure to check our website to get daily updates.
Yes, so that project sounds so awesome, Annika. Now, another project that the Eco Committee has been leading is called the Go Green Project. This project was made mainly to help people learn how to tackle Go Green issues. In 2021, we created a video series on different Go Green topics like recycling, zero waste, composting, planting, and more. So through this series, we hope that people would learn a lot about Go Green with our thorough research. This year, we have even more content on its way, all with one purpose, to educate everyone with the tools to combat climate change.
Well, that's how VT Seva has helped and protect the environment in the past. But Leia, do you want to talk about our exciting new Earth Day project?
Yes, I'm very excited. So today we are here to join hands with all of you to launch our new Earth Day project, the Upcycling Project.
So the whole idea of this project is to find trash or plastic around our homes that we would otherwise throw away and turn them into something really useful.
This is very important because things like plastic bottle caps and plastic lids may seem useless, but they can actually be made into a lot of things that are cool and help the environment.
So we're here to encourage all of you watching to try and find items around your house to upcycle.
And here are a few items that we have upcycled.
Okay, so I have made these pair of earrings made from used bottle caps, and I spray painted them and added a really cute and fun design.
Yes, and I have also made a few things. So first, I made this coaster out of a plastic lid and a plastic bag. I also made this Ziploc and this bracelet with some string and some plastic straws.
Okay, and here's something to remember. Earth Day is only one of the 365 days of the year, but you should do something every single day, whether it be walking or biking to school, taking shorter showers, or even turning off the lights when you're not using it.
Yes, and this is a super fun project to try because you can use creativity while helping the environment. And everyone thinks that helping the environment is very hard, but it's really, really not. If we all take small steps, we can make a huge impact. So please take action in your neighborhoods and your homes.
Okay, thank you.
Isn't it so inspiring to see such young, talented children going the extra mile to make a difference to the community? The Eco Committee, and really any project relating to climate change, are just so essential to our existence in the future.
I agree with Marwan. It is so inspiring to hear such stories, not only from Seattle, but across all the 26 VT Seva chapters across the nation. Youth from all these branches are spending sleepless nights to make a difference to the communities here in the USA and India. Speaking of sleepless nights, you know, Marwan, I can go 10 days without sleep.
Okay, that's impossible. No one can do that. How can you do it?
That's easy. I sleep at night.
Anyways, I was totally looking forward to the next program. This program is about pushing the memory of a person to the extreme. This is the Bhagavad Gita Avadhanam. We will have Manya demonstrate how she can remember 720 slokas of the Bhagavad Gita and recall each and every word in any order. Avadhanam is a literary performance famous from the very ancient days of India. It originated as a Sanskrit literary process and was revived by Telugu poets in modern times. The performer is called the Avadhani, who answers through poems. It requires immense memory power and tests a person's capability of performing multiple tasks simultaneously. His Holiness Sri Chinnajir Swami wanted to teach our kids from a young age to develop these cognitive skills. So, he has applied the Avadhana Prakarya to Srimad Bhagavad Gita so that anyone can master cognitive capabilities of observation, memory, multitasking, task switching, retrieval, reasoning, and creativity in multiple modes of intelligence. In this performance, Manya Alapati is the Avadhani and Rajesh Kalidindi as the Pruchaka. Pruchaka means the person who poses the questions, and the Avadhani responds to those questions. Go ahead.
Jai Shriman Narayana. This performance, Srimad Bhagavad Gita Avadhanam, is a memory test, as Marwan mentioned. In this Bhagavad Gita, there are 700 verses or slokas. Manyada memorized all of them. I'm going to randomly ask questions to test her memory in different dimensions. Let's get into it, Manyada. Those who don't know about Bhagavad Gita, it is a conversation between Sri Krishna and Arjuna. This conversation was in 700 slokas, which is divided into 18 chapters. In the first memory test, I will give a random sloka number from any one of those 18 chapters. Ready, Manyada? Chapter 6, sloka 18.
Yatha viniyatam chittam.
Correct. Chapter 8, sloka 13.
Omityekaksharam brahma.
Correct. Chapter 9, sloka 26.
Patram pushpam palam toyam.
Chapter 11, sloka 37.
Kasmachatena nameran mahatman.
That's correct. By the way, Manyada did not know any of these questions. I have collected these questions from our audience. So now let's test her memory in a different dimension. I will give a random sloka from any one of those 700 slokas. Manyada will identify the chapter and sloka number. Ready? Chapter 12, sloka 15.
Yasmanno dvijate loko.
Correct. Chapter 10, sloka 39.
Yachapi sarva bhutanam.
Correct. Chapter 7, sloka 22.
Sataya shraddhaya yuktaha.
Correct. Chapter 15, sloka 13.
Gama visyacha bhutani.
Correct. Now we will give a starting word of a particular sloka. Manyada will complete the full slokam. Avyaktadvaktayas sarvaha.
This is chapter 8, shloka 18. Avyaktad vyaktayas sarvaha prabhavatyah ragame ratragame praliyante tatraiva vyakta samyake.
Good job. That's correct. Ye tvakshara manirdesyam.
Chapter 12, Shloka 3. Ye tvaksharamanirdesyam avyaktam paryupasate sarvatra gamachintyam cha kutastamachalam dhruvam.
Correct. Kshetrajñam chapi mam vidhi.
Chapter 13, Shloka 2. Kshetrajñam chapi mam vidhi sarvakshetreshu bharata kshetra kshetrajnayor jnanam yattadjnanam matam mama.
Correct. Now let us add some more twist to her memory skills. It's an arithmetic progression. I will give a chapter number, sloka, and ask her to add a numeric value. For example, if I say add 5 to sloka 5 from chapter 1, she will say 5th sloka from the chapter 1, and then add 5 to it, which is a 10th sloka, and then add 5 to it, which is a 15th sloka. Ready, Manyada? Chapter 8, sloka 20, add 8.
Chapter 8, Shloka 20. Parastasmatu bhavonyo. Chapter 8, Shloka 28. Vedeshu yajneshu tapassu chaiva. The next shloka will be chapter 9, Shloka 8, as there are no more shlokas in chapter 8. Chapter 9, Shloka 8. Prakrutim swamavashtabhya. Chapter 9, Shloka 16. Aham kraturaham yajnaha.
Correct. Now I will give a chapter number, sloka, and ask her to subtract a numeric value. For example, if I say subtract 5 from sloka 25 from chapter 1, first she will say the 25th sloka from chapter 1, and then subtract 5 to it, which is the 20th sloka, and then subtract 5 to, which is a 15th sloka. Chapter 10, sloka 40 minus 5.
Chapter 10, Shloka 40. Nantosti mama divyanam. Chapter 10, Shloka 35. Bruhatsama tathasamnam. Chapter 10, Shloka 30. Prahladaschasmi daityanam. Chapter 10, Shloka 25. Maharshinam Bhruguraham.
Good job. Now, how about we combine this addition and subtraction together? So, for example, chapter 2, sloka 5, add 10 and subtract 2. That means, Manyada will say 5th sloka from chapter 2, and then add to 10, which is a 15th sloka, and then subtract 2 from it, which is a 13th sloka. So in this skill, she is going to demonstrate that not only she is memorizing and reciting the slokas, but she is also calculating the addition and subtraction together. Ready? Chapter 12, sloka 10, add 5, subtract 3.
Chapter 12, Shloka 10, plus 5 minus 3. Chapter 12, Shloka 10. Abhyasepya samartosi. Chapter 12, Shloka 15. Yasmanno dvijate loko. Chapter 12, Shloka 12. Shreyo hi jnanam abhyasat. Chapter 12, Shloka 17. Yona hrishyati na dveshti. Chapter 12, Shloka 14. Santushta satatam yogi.
Good job. That's correct. In the next round, in Bhagavad Gita, there are some names are repeated. When I give a name, Manyada will say the meaning of the name and then identify the chapter number and sloka where it comes. Achyuta.
Achyuta means the one who never leaves his devotees, and it is a Krishna Nama. It appears 3 times in the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, in chapter 1, Shloka 21, chapter 11, Shloka 42, and chapter 18, Shloka 73.
That's correct. One more name, Govinda.
Govinda means the savior of cows and the Vedas. It appears twice in the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, in chapter 1, Shloka 32, and chapter 2, Shloka 9. This is a Bhagavan Nama.
Good job. Now let us finish the performance with the rapid fire questions. So in the beginning of this performance, I have mentioned that there are 700 slokas which are divided into 18 chapters, right? Now I will give a random number from 1 to those 700 slokas. Manyada will identify that a sloka in a chapter and a sloka number. 610.
Chapter 17, Shloka 16.
Correct. 380.
Chapter 10, Shloka 8.
That's correct. 475.
Chapter 12, Shloka 6.
Last question. 626.
Chapter 18, Shloka 4.
That's correct. Very good job, Manyada. In this performance, we wanted to demonstrate that our brain has a capability of memorizing 2.5 petabytes of the memory. So, check yourself how much memory you have. Jai Shriman Narayana.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give a huge round of applause. What a terrific display and use of one's intelligence. It is a perfect example of what one can accomplish when you truly put your heart into it. Congratulations for such an amazing program. What happened, Marwan? What do you
I got a bad grade in my essay.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sure it was a tough one.
No, it was easy. It was an essay about my dog. The teacher said that it was copying because it looked exactly like my sister's essay. And I said, yeah, because we have the same dog.
Oh, I get it now. As we celebrate our successes from 2021, we also want to acknowledge the divisions and difficulties in the world that's going on today. To promote peace and prosperity to all, we would like to invite the Mudra School of Dance to present their song and dance, Mahitram Bhajeti. This was first sung by M.S. Subhalakshmi in the United Nations Convention in the Hall of 1966, and it still is relevant even today. So please welcome Mudra School of Dance for our next performance.
Whether it's an argument between two people or a war between two countries, it all starts when one doesn't. Whether it's an argument between two people or a war between two countries, it all starts when one doesn't treat the other equally. There is no one formula for peace. The truth is, we all have a voice. Even if one person hears it, it makes a huge difference. Let us do it for today and give a safer world to our next generation.
प्रसन्नवदना सौभाग्यवती
मैत्रीं भजत अखिलः जयत्री मैत्रीं भजत अखिलः जयत्री मैत्रीं भजत अखिलः जयत्री आत्मवदेव परानपि पश्यत आत्मवदेव परानपि पश्यत युद्धं त्यजत स्पर्धां त्यजत युद्धं त्यजत स्पर्धां त्यजत त्यजत परेष्वक्रममाक्रमणम् त्यजत परेष्वक्रममाक्रमणम् मैत्रीं भजत अखिलः जयत्री मैत्रीं भजत अखिलः जयत्री जननी पृथ्वी कामदुगास्ते जननी पृथ्वी कामदुगास्ते जनको देवः सकलदयाळुः जनको देवः सकलदयाळुः दाम्यतदात दयध्वं जनता दाम्यतदत्त दयध्वं जनता श्रेयो भूयात् सकलजनानां श्रेयो भूयात् सकलजनानां श्रेयो भूयात् सकलजनानां श्रेयो भूयात् सकलजनानां श्रेयो भूयात् सकलजनानां
Now, before we move on to our guest speaker series, I want to invite our entire youth team on stage and have the youth presidents, Sri Hari and Anushka, talk about how their year was, how they are organized, what they do, how they motivate, and inspire above all. What's their message to you? I have known Anushka and Sri Hari for a long time. They are so dedicated, energized all the time, passionate to the cause, and a true role model, not only for us, but to a lot of the youth out there.
Hi everyone, my name is Anushka Sharma and I'm the co-president of the Youth Board.
And I'm Shrihari, the other co-president.
It all starts.
Hi everyone, my name's Aditi and I'm the vice president for the VTS Youth Board.
Hi, my name is Ananya. I'm the secretary for this youth board.
Hello everyone, I am Yashita and I am the co-vice president of this youth board.
Hi, my name is Smedha and I'm the co-lead for the sports committee.
Hi guys, my name is Vivek. I'm co-sports director.
Hi guys, I'm Marwan. I'm one of the tech leads.
Hi, I'm Pranav. I'm the head of volunteer management.
Hi, my name is Nidhi, and I'm the marketing director.
And together we make the youth board of the Seattle team.
Yep, we just want to go over a few things about our youth board this year. So we're super proud that in 2021, we were really able to use the pandemic as an opportunity to create new projects and do more things that we've never done before. Some examples of this are the various amount of sports projects that we've been able to do, as well as really cool and interesting things such as Hearts for Heroes, which we'll highlight a little bit later.
Yeah, going off of what Srihari just said, we really admire VT Seva Seattle's ability to stay resilient during the 2020 pandemic. And last year as well, we launched so many events online and we didn't give up. We adapted to the unique circumstances that we were faced with. And some could say we did better than we would have if we were in person normally. One big thing about the youth board here in Seattle is that we have a lot of focus on teaching volunteers the skills they will need once they go to university or once they join the workforce. Recently, a survey just came out where companies were surveyed about what they're lacking in kids that just graduate university. And one of the things they said was empathy and the ability to collaborate and teamwork with other people. And those are the two things that we focus on here in our VT Seva Youth Board. One of them being empathy. We teach our volunteers how to empathize, not only the ones we serve, but how to empathize with each other and the club volunteer kids that we help out every weekend. And teamwork is a really, really integral part of what we do here in the board. And talking about teamwork, I'm going to pass it to Diti.
Yeah, so as Anushka said, VTS Youth Board is known for its teamwork, and we have members who have different strengths in different areas. For example, we have amazing dancers, we have amazing tech leads, we also have people who are really interested in creating flyers and also advocating or public speaking at our events. So it's really when all of these members come together and teach each other their strengths and learn from each other where the real change and impact happens. And it's been a wonderful opportunity to be a part of this board. All of these people are like some of my great and best friends, so I'm really grateful for this opportunity. And also going off the idea of leadership, something we decided to do this year was to have an emphasis on VTS clubs around the nation, specifically in high schools. Shihari and I had the opportunity to start a club at our high school, and we recently had the opportunity to talk with kids in Texas at the Austin VTS branch, instructing them on how they can start their own clubs. And we have around 7 students now who are ready to launch their club in the next upcoming school year. So we're really looking forward for more volunteers to get involved and really take initiative as part of the VTS experience.
Yeah, so as seen throughout this event, you can tell that a lot of our volunteers throughout the pandemic have really stepped up to the plate and come up with their own amazing project ideas to lead and take forward, along with bringing other volunteers throughout the journey. So as part of the youth board, it's one of our jobs to make sure that we provide them with all the resources and partnerships that needed, because we really believe that their amazing ideas and projects deserve the recognition and the outreach that as much as we can give them. And so yeah, that's as co-VP, and we really do believe that our volunteers deserve all of the attention and help that we can get, as we are all trying to do help out our community and do the best for it.
Yeah, and just as that, communication is also very important in all of this. And that's what VT Seva does too, a good communication.
And then also, so for the sports committee, as co-lead, so me and Vivek decided to do the sports committee because we really wanted to encourage people in our youth in our community specifically to be more active, whether that's through virtually or even outside. So through our camps, we're encouraging more people to get involved. And also as a girl in the sports committee, I'm encouraging more women in sports as well. So in the community, that's very important.
And then additionally, we're also launching an esports tournament just to increase collaboration in our club. which will be launching in the next couple weeks.
Yeah, so for marketing, I joined the marketing committee because I thought it was really important to make sure that VT Seva's like word and message is spread. And so by managing social media and, you know, making flyers and stuff, I try to make sure that people hear about our projects and our work.
All right, so Nicole and I chose to join the tech committee because we've both been working with technology for a really long time. And obviously, especially with the pandemic, it's really just become an integral part to our lives right now. We handle a lot of the technical sides of a lot of the projects that you've heard about or will hear about. And the reason that Nicole's not up here with me right now is because he's actually doing the live streaming back there for all of you to enjoy the event. Really smooth transitions by him, so shout outs to him.
All right, well, that wraps it up for our youth board. I just want to say we're really, really proud of what we've been able to do in 2021, and we really look to help keeping it going in 2022. It's really been a great run.
At the youth board, we have a lot of fun. We do a lot of hard work too, and it's all about owning your adventure and doing what you want to do. So if you are interested in joining the youth board or the club, please reach out to any one of us, and we'd be more than happy to help you guys out. Thank you.
What's up, guys? I'm back. Awesome work. A big round of applause for our passionate youth. It's really a great feeling to see that the future generation is in good hands with such compassionate leadership. This is the essence of VT Seva's mission and vision. On behalf of the entire team here, we want to thank the VT Seva CEO and founder, Sri Chinnajir Swamiji, for giving us this foundation, inspiring us with his vision, and giving us a role, an opportunity to be part of it. We are truly blessed in what we are doing here.
Wow, Marwan, that's so motivational. And I completely agree. You captured it beautifully. Ladies and gentlemen, moving on to the most awaited part of the program, I would like to invite Sumithianti to take over.
Hello. Now for this amazing program that we have been waiting for all afternoon. VT Seva Youth Board this year came up with this amazing idea to honor local heroes who have been inspiring and have done exceptional work in any field. And our first choice this year is Dr. Michelle Reed. It is our immense honor to have Dr. Michelle Reed as our chief guest today. Dr. Michelle Reed was unanimously selected as the superintendent by the North Shore School District Board of Directors in June 2016 following a national search. Dr. Reed was formerly the superintendent of South Kitsap School District. Prior to becoming South Kitsap superintendent, she served as the deputy superintendent, district athletic director, and high school principal in the Port Angeles School District. Dr. Reed is known regionally and nationally for instructional leadership and crafting sustainable systems for district support of the instructional core. She has been a conference keynotes presenter, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics panel participant, and has been a leadership facilitator at both the University of Washington Center for Educational Leadership and Harvard Institute for School Leadership. Dr. Reed received her doctorate in educational leadership from the University of Washington, master's degree in educational administration from the University of Washington, and bachelor's degree in natural science chemistry from the University of Puget Sound. Dr. Michelle Reed also was the superintendent of the North Shore School District, was named the 2021 AASA National Superintendent of the Year during a virtual event on February 18th, on Wednesday, February 18th. That is such an honor. I would request our youth board to facilitate her before we get started.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Set it here.
Okay. Oh, perfect. That would have made a lot more sense. I can put it in. Thank you.
It's probably not holding up, so.
We'll save it from an accident.
Yes. Dr. Reed, again, it is an immense pleasure to have you here today. Yeah. On behalf of the youth board, the volunteers, the parents, and everybody here, I welcome you. One of the themes that VT Seva is committed to is youth mental health. And having been an NSD student, for the past 15 years, NSD parent, I'm sorry, I have followed you very closely, and I know that this is a topic that you are passionate about as well. So we can get started with getting to know more about your thoughts on this topic. And as we have this conversation, I also welcome, welcome all those who are watching this program to post their questions on Zoom if you have. And anybody who is watching this live outside can also pass on the questions, and we have volunteers around here to take those questions and hand it over to Dr. Reed.
Thank you so much, and thank you to VT Seva and the youth. I think what's happening today is so important for healthy mental health, right? When we focus on those other than ourselves, it actually helps ourselves. I've often said that the things we do for others last long after we're gone. The things we do for ourselves go when we go. So it's just a gift, I think, that you give, and I'm so inspired by the youth and the VT Seva, the concepts. I think mental health is very important to talk about. And in many places, there's a stigma to talking about it. And sometimes it's a cultural stigma to talking about mental health. And that gets in the way of us understanding how we can help one another. It's so important that we talk openly about mental health, because 1 in 4 of our youth have mental health concerns at different times. That's a tremendous percentage. And we need to think about how to normalize that conversation. When one of our children is diagnosed as diabetic, we go to the doctor, we talk to our neighbor, we say, what do? We change our diet, maybe we exercise, maybe we need medication. If we have one of our own children that is dealing with a mental health issue, we often don't talk about it with our neighbor, we don't talk about it with the doctor. And I think that is, that's devastating. When we don't talk about things, we don't deeply understand them, and then there's fear. And we must talk about them. I want to say also, in this pandemic, it's been difficult for our youth. Many of our outgoing youth have been more isolated and don't feel as connected to one another and sometimes their families. I want to also pause for a moment and acknowledge that everyone here has been touched by COVID, right? Everyone has lost a friend or a family member or a tradition or a celebration or a gathering that we've missed in the last couple of years. And that's difficult. I think it's created mental health challenges for our adults. And as we as parents and grandparents and aunts and uncles struggle with mental health, our children see that and they struggle. So we have to talk about the issues that create stress and anxiety. I will share that I met with a group of students from North Creek High School last week when I was visiting the high school, and they wanted me to know, and they wanted to be able to find a way to talk to their parents, because they said many of them have moved here from India and other countries around the world, Portugal and Brazil and so forth. And often their parents say, what do you have mental health issues, right? We worked our whole lives to get to a place, to come to this country, to have an opportunity, to be in school here. You have your own bedroom, you have this beautiful home. What do you have to be, anxious about or stressed about, right? Like, we have done all this for you. So often they said they would just like their parents to listen, right? And just acknowledge that they are struggling too, and that grades and classes and plans for college or university create stress, and that they appreciate and love their parents, but it's hard to speak to them about mental health. So I would encourage any parents or adults listening to think about spending more time in conversation with their child. The research at Harvard, probably in 2005, was that children between the age of 12 and 18 spent about 30 minutes a week one-on-one with an adult. And I think that's a real problem. I think it is. And I think the greatest gift we can give our children is not a new toy or a new something, new stuff or a new trip, but it's spending time one-on-one with our child, really getting to know our children in deeper ways, right? So I think that's very important.
Dr. Reed, that gets me to one question I did get from the parents here, saying what are the resources available to parents? Because I think one of the biggest challenges is like, we come from different countries. Growing up, I never heard about all this, mental health for children. So now, how do we educate ourselves? We as parents and adults educate ourselves so that we identify that this child needs help, right? Because today we brush it off as just a teenage attitude. Right. Like how we do that?
Right. Well, in our district, we participate in a program called Frontline, which are PTSA funds, and it's done in partnership with the University of Washington. And it teaches parents the signs of mental health. Okay. And one of the things I want parents to know is that the highest achieving children among us, those getting the best grades, the most active, our youth leaders, can get mentally sicker, quicker, longer, deeper, because they can function longer and cover their depression because they have more tools. Mm-hmm. And we pick up the signs sometimes too late among even our highest achieving children. So simply good grades, on the team, student leader, That does not mean that a child or a student or a young person isn't dealing with mental health issues. There's a great deal of pressure that students put on themselves and feel sometimes from their family or from school. So the Frontline is a great resource, that program. School counselors are a great resource. Each other, if we talk about it, are great resources.
Yeah.
I want to thank, I know Dr. Srinivas Kedem brought in the, I want to say Punacha Machaya and Gabriella Wright. Several years ago, before the pandemic, mental health was a serious pandemic alone, and they talked about, there's a foundation, Never Alone, which you could Google and check into. They have a number of resources as well. I think just talking about it and being open and saying there is nothing to be embarrassed or ashamed about if you're dealing with mental health. It's normal, right? We just need to talk about it. I think that's the best way to, that's the best resource, each other.
And on the, this is a two-way street, right? The child and the parents around the child. How do children identify that they need help?
I think that's hard, right? Sometimes it's, I don't feel like getting out of bed. Sometimes I don't have an appetite. I don't want to do the things I normally do. There can be a variety of things, but they just don't feel the same energy maybe that they've had, and maybe just sad. And that's different from sad that is triggered by an event. We all experience sadness, but it's that kind of sadness that just lingers. And I think, again, talking with students, we're actually planning a parent evening night where some of our students are going to share exactly how they feel when they are dealing with mental health and what they would appreciate as support. Sometimes we guess, and if we don't guess right, we just irritate people, I think. So I think it's good to hear from our students.
Just tell them you're lazy.
Right?
Getting out of bed.
I've said that to my own students or my own children, right? Get up, get moving. And of course, you know, we still say those as parents, clean your room, right? But it's when you just feel that they're off, right? They withdraw. Maybe they're not as, spend more time in their room and not together with the family. So those are signs, I think, that it's important to go to the room then and sit and have a conversation. I also think technology has separated us some. The social media can be very hurtful if we don't manage it well and teach our young people how to use it.
Yes,
but I would give you like an example. I met with a family several weeks ago who said they finally realized they were in trouble when the pizza person arrived at the door and their son had ordered it from his room for dinner because they just didn't want to come down. And I thought, okay, that does seem like that's an issue you'd want to intervene on, right?
Definitely.
So, yeah.
Any questions on Zoom or? No questions on Zoom. Okay.
We must be so clear that.
Definitely.
I also think
if Dr. Reed has any notes that she would like to share, please.
Yeah, I think it's important to always be in balance, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. And when we're in balance, we are able, I think, to keep ourselves more mentally healthy. So we eat right, we exercise. I heard we do cricket, right? Cricket, swimming, tennis, soccer, whatever. Staying fit, eating well, getting plenty of rest. One of our former Woodinville High School students who went to Notre Dame, her goal as a freshman was to get 8 hours of sleep every night. And she academically did far better because she did. So just taking care of ourselves, I think, is so important. And the public service piece that VT Seva really talks about. Again, back to the beginning of our conversation, if we do things for others, I think we feel better about ourselves. You know, it just multiplies the joy.
And in the school, Dr. Reed, do we have any special classes for all the students so that they can identify, you know, symptoms or, you know, because this is a time there is immense pressure. There is peer pressure, there is comparison, they want to do, you know, there's all these things going on. Do the children have resources and classes that they can identify their own?
I don't think we have classes, but we are talking about mental health first aid, which is a program where students can learn the signs and symptoms to help each other, and also parents and educators. We have counselors and mental health support professionals in each of our schools to be supportive. There's always someone to turn and talk with. We just have to take the step and do it. So, yeah.
Any questions? A question that one parent has is, how do you differentiate between what is just stress and what is actually a mental health issue that should be considered, or are they just like the same? Like, do they feed into each other?
I will just repeat the question for those who are listening. The question from one of the parent here is, what is the difference between normal stress and depression or anxiety?
That's a great question because it's really hard to tell, right? I think normal stress is usually connected to something we can name. I have finals coming up, a big game, big date, something, right? There's an event you can kind of connect it to. When something is becoming more problematic, it lingers longer, perhaps gets deeper. And then there's also serious mental health issues, schizophrenia, types of bipolar disorder. There are a variety of things that you really need to see your family doctor to talk about that. If a student or an adult, any one of us, has mental health issues, it's something that you can't always tie to an incident. It's something that goes on for a while, and you would want to see your family doctor or a professional.
That's great.
Because often there's medication, right? Like a blood chemistry that you may need medication for support. And we would, if it's that simple, we would want to make sure we provide treatment.
Right,
So, yeah.
And I think that is one of the biggest challenges. It gets unnoticed.
Right.
You don't identify it.
Right.
And then it probably can lead to a lot more.
And sometimes we get close, we think, oh, maybe it is, but we don't want to talk about it.
Yes.
And we have to, let that go. We have to talk about it. It's about saving lives.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Probably this may have been addressed before, but still, in one of the questions came from a parent is, Indian society is a very closed society. What can we do, or what can each parent do to make this topic more acceptable to talk with families within social circles and as a community together?
So I think as I sat earlier and watched all the amazing work that VT Seva is doing with the downtown, the homeless, the earth, taking care of the earth as if we were taking care of ourselves, why would we not take care of our mental health in the same way, right? Because if we don't take care of one another, and I think if I was a parent in a closed culture and I do all of this work for others, mental health is maybe the most important work to save lives. So I would talk about it maybe as a new day, right? This pandemic has taught us things. What we knew before and what we did before, now we know more and we can do better and we need to talk about it. So it's turning a page. We can still be who we are culturally, religiously, spiritually, and talk about mental health so we can save lives for our children. I'm quite sure His Grace would appreciate us to do that. Yeah.
And one more aspect that you have seen is Avadhanam, that one of, or not sure, no, I think it's a school student, I believe, has memorized about 700 verses. We talked about it. So, how do you see that?
I have to say I was so impressed and so inspired by everything I have seen today. Our youth, we are in good hands if these are our youth, right? They will be making decisions about our fate as this generation, and I'm so proud of them and inspired by them. And I think of the power of the mind and the power of the mind for good. And we need to keep these minds healthy, which means we need to talk about it if there's an issue. But oh my goodness, the power of our mind is incredible. I had never seen that type of memorization.
Yes,
I thought just memorizing the Gettysburg Address was enough.
Yes. Looks like we have another question.
Yes, I have a question. Do you see trends of mental health concerns between genders? How can mental health care be more integrated in the schools and life, bringing families and the culture closer together?
I do see gender differently. I think sometimes, and I don't want to offend anybody, so with all due respect, I think our young men tend to be more impulsive. And so we have to remind them in particular to stop and think that things will get better, because there are times I think young men, there's an event or something that they feel maybe they lose face, or and they are impulsive about, I can't face people, I need to maybe think about something that might be really hurtful to myself. Young women, I think, put up with things for longer. We often hold not just our own stress, but the stress of all around us. The mothers, grandmothers, right? We have to keep everything together. So I think there's some gender differences, but at the end, I think we all have mental health issues from time to time. And again, I just think we have to talk about it openly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Any more questions?
Any other questions that we have? No. So
No questions, I'm sorry.
in closing, we can say that probably.
She has a question.
Oh, great.
Yes.
There we go. Questions got
You can go near.
Come here.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say that your friend has dealing with mental health
Mic
issues.
near the mic.
If your friend is dealing with mental health issues, what can you do, or what can you say as your friend to help them out?
So one thing is, I think taking the mental health first aid course would be a good idea. The second is listening and acknowledging it sounds like you're going through some tough mental health times. Can we go see a counselor together, right? Or go sign up to see a mental health therapist in the school together? If there isn't one at the school you're in, can we talk to your family about it? And then make sure you tell somebody if the person who is struggling doesn't feel comfortable with that, but offer to walk beside them. And make sure that you share the story with someone you trust, an adult, so that you can kind of feel like you've let somebody know, and also that you don't carry that stress with you, right? Make sure you share that with a trusted adult. But it's very important. And it's such a, I think, compliment that someone would trust you enough to maybe talk with you about a mental health issue. So, yeah.
Great question, Anna.
It's an act of love to talk to somebody about this. Maybe that's how we bridge this, right? It is simply an act of love to say, I notice you're not yourself. Can we talk about it?
I think building empathy in all our children,
Yes.
to be able to, identify and
Right.
support and not just brush things off,
Right.
is an
Yeah.
important aspect.
They never go away when we brush them off, right? We have to
We
just
don't.
deal with them. Yeah.
Yes, yes. And what happens is when you brush things off, the other person becomes a lot more silent. They don't
Yes.
share it.
Right, well, I guess they don't care, right? I guess
Yeah.
it's not a big deal, and it might really be, right? That may be their
Yes.
first attempt to talk about it.
Yeah. So, all our children, having that empathetic outlook to, look for signs in your friends to identify and help will be a great.
And then as families, if someone comes to you, not to brush it off too,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Because our children, even though they don't say it as they grow older, but they're watching us closely.
Yes.
And, yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dr. Reed. I would like
Thank
to
you.
now invite Dr. Kadam to felicitate you.
Thanks for that.
Standing up.
Yes, yes. It's something,
Oh, it's beautiful.
typical Indian custom. The seal and 4 lines. I'll explain more about that later. Each one stands for something important. The protecting the righteousness, the dharma, and all this.
Nice. Well, thank you very much.
For the line.
Your 4 lines, and it's a seal.
Very cool. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Doctor.
Yeah.
I really appreciate
Yeah,
your
thank
time
you.
and
Thank you
valuable
very
thoughts.
much.
Yes.
It's a big
Yeah, you can say something.
Okay. Now, did I say something?
You want to say?
Yes.
Again, just thank our youth and continue to be inspired by our youth. They have a huge capacity for good, and use that gift wisely, right? You are in the position of being influencers, and influencing for good is so important, especially today. And again, thank you very much. And Yeah, likewise. It's been an honor to be here. So be well, and that would be it, I guess. Yeah. Woo, this is beautiful. All right, I'm going to take my flowers too.
You look great.
Yeah, there you go. All right, thanks.
Give it up for Dr. Reed for this amazing session. I am so grateful to hear this message, and it's so grateful to see that we are on the right track. You know, Marwan, I remember reading a book about how to stop negativity from one's life. All you gotta do is start changing the way you think. Everyone can protect themselves from negativity, and that's what stops most negative thoughts. The way you can put an end to negativity is by coding around your mind with one simple thing: gratitude. Gratitude erases negativity. And it's so easy to do it too. If you wake up in the morning and you start to have negative thoughts, every time you're free, in the middle of the day, if you feel like you're going to have negative thoughts, stop. Just stop for a second and start going over your mind everything you've been grateful for. Not everything you want, but you already have. Because what you have is substantial. The fact that you can walk is a blessing. The fact you woke up is another blessing. The fact that you can see, think, reason, those are all another blessings. Because that fact is that you're in good health, that's another blessing. And I'm just talking to you. I can give you 50 things you ought to be grateful for. And I don't even know you. This changes everything.
Dude, that's so deep. Oh my god. Oh, I'm glad my dad isn't here today. With that kind of message, my next Xbox game would have gone for a toss. Anyway, I'm totally looking forward to our next program, which is UW Awaz, performing in a cappella.
living by one man.
जग से हारा नहीं मैं, खुद से हारा हुआ। एक दिन चमकूंगा लेकिन तेरा सितारा हुआ। मुझसे ही रूठी मेरी
To me, it's nothing but inside I can never make him love me, never make him love me. No, no, I'm bracing for the pain and I'm letting I will use it all my strength to get out of but I hit a wall, I hit a wall. Watch the fall.
जज्बात क्या है बुरा बुरा ये शाद इसके साथ
I'm bracing for the pain and I'm I gathered all my strength and I found myself.
Give them a huge round of applause. What a joyly event. What excellent coordination, and what great talent they have.
You know, Ananya, the other day I was singing in my room, and my dad walked in, and he thought I was a radio.
Oh, that's sweet. Did he come and listen in?
No, he said he came in to turn it off.
Oh, that's okay, Marwan. Don't take it to heart. Maybe you can get some tips from the Awaz team. For our next program, I would like to invite Raghuji along with the Seattle Pregna team for a round table on equality.
Jai Sriman Narayana. Shri Krishna in Bhagavad Gita says, Mai sarvamidam protam sutre manigana iva, which means every being is strung together as beads in a string. All connected to me, they are one. Elaborating on that, it also means that while in a string, all the beads make a beautiful mala, every bead has an individuality, its own soul. Sadly, in spite of so many advancements in civilization, we continue to struggle in the world today than ever before. The pandemic, the Black Lives Matter, or the current war in Ukraine. What we need now than ever before is a reminder that what matters most is compassion and equality. 1,000 years ago, the world faced a similar social imbalance, and Bhagavad Ramanuja raced to the cause to propagate his vision of equality through his actions and scriptures. Earlier this year, the Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi ji, inaugurated the Statue of Equality in India to commemorate Bhagavad Ramanuja's 1000th birthday celebrations. This was our Acharya Chinnajia Swamiji's vision. What exactly was his vision? And why did he build this temple? I am sure many of us have these questions too. But today, our students of Pragnya from Life Management of Gita class have you covered. Please sit back and listen to the popcorn conversation to find out some answers. Take it over, Soham.
Jai Shri Narayana. So, who here knows about Bhagavad Ramanuja and his concept of equality? If so, please elaborate.
I do. Bhagavad Ramanuja was a great social informer, born to Sri Kesava Somayaji and Kantimati of the Asri family in Sri Perumbudur village during the 11th century in India. Acharya Ramanuja was said to be the incarnation of Adisesha. Now, Bhagavad Ramanuja lived for over 120 years, and in his lifetime established on a firm footing the doctrines of Vishishtadvaita. Sri Ramanuja was also a great philosopher and a guru like none other. His concept of equality revolves around the saying, service to all beings is service to God. This is directly translated to Sarva Prani Seve Madhava Seva.
Oh, isn't that in our Pranya pledge too?
Absolutely. Acharya Ramanuja spread the message of surrender to God to remove ego, pride, fear, and anxiety among people. He was the first to recognize the dignity of labor concept By preaching and practicing that all activities we do are services to God.
I've also heard of the concept standard operating procedure created by Bhagavad Ramanuja. This allowed the people to worship and participate in rituals. This idea of social engineering allowed people to This social engineering allowed people from all over South India to participate and worship in these rituals. Bhagavad Ramanuja created this idea from long ago, and this is still being used in South India today.
The prayer at the beginning of the Sri Bhashya best describes the essence of his teachings. May knowledge transformed into intense love, directed to Sriman Narayana, the highest Brahman, the being to whom the creation, preservation, and dissolution of the universe is mere play. His main resolve was to offer protection to all those who approached him in all humility and sincerity. He shines out like the beacon light out of the pages of the scriptures.
Amazing. I want to learn more. But why is it that Bhagavad Ramanuja's statue, inaugurated in Hyderabad, India, is called the Statue of Equality?
Oh, I know. That's a great question. Let me tell you a small story. Bhagavad Ramanuja worked tirelessly to receive the Tirumantram and Churama Shloka. He traveled numerous times between Kanchipuram and Srirangam in a quest of knowledge. After almost 18 attempts, he received the mantram, but was told not to tell anyone. Only certain people could know the mantra.
However, Bhagavad Ramanuja wondered, why should such an essence of life be limited to only some people? With that thought in mind, he shared the mantram with anyone who asked for it. Obviously, his Acharya was upset and confronted Bhagavad Ramanuja about this, to which Bhagavad Ramanuja humbly replied, if thousands of people can attain moksha by knowing this mantram, but I would go to hell for sharing it, I am willing to go to hell. Overwhelmed with this thought and compassion, Bhagavad Ramanuja's Acharya named Ramanuja as his own Acharya and named him Emperumanar, the ultimate Acharya. This is the meaning of equality, isn't it? Something Bhagavad Ramanuja showed us more than 1,000 years ago. What better name than Statue of Equality for a person who truly stood for equality and compassion?
But what's the point in spending $130 million on a statue, and why?
It is the great effort of all the acharyas that came after Ramanuja that even after 1,000 years, we are still able to access his great works and teachings, such as Sri Bhashyam and Vedartha Sangraham. With the invention of the internet, while this information is more accessible, there's also a great risk that it can be manipulated, misinterpreted, and mistranslated. It is our responsibility to make sure that this information is passed down in a way that people can benefit, preserve, and continue that lineage. Sure, 130 million might seem like a big number today, but if we consider the vision our Acharya has for mankind, I think we can all agree that this is a small investment in the right cause.
I've also learned that many world leaders have been influenced by Bhagavad Ramanuja's concept of equality. We should talk about them too, right?
I agree. Equality is a loosely used term today, but there are many leaders in the world that truly stand for equality. We are in need of these people now more than ever. One of these examples of people that stand for equality is our own Acharya, Sri Tridandi Chinna Sriman Narayana Ramanujacharya, who is part of an esteemed line of followers of Sri Ramanujacharya, and who are always cheerful and joyful. He is unmindful of his own bodily comforts and always strives for others' wellness. He is truly India's enlightened spiritual humanitarian leader and radiates joy wherever he goes. He does this through the translation of Vedic scriptures, religious tolerance, and and nonviolence, and also the mutual respect and love for all living things.
His Holiness Sri 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 Chinajir Swami's vision is to empower the impoverished communities all across the world to have equal opportunities like healthcare, quality education, and self-confidence. To spread joy and peace throughout wherever he goes, he follows these set of principles: worship your own, respect all, and serve all beings as service to God.
Another famous and fundamental example of this could be Mahatma Gandhi, who spoke of freedom and universalism. Although he was not a Sri Vaishnavan bearing the marks of Samasrayanam, he was still very deeply religious in outlook and was very much influenced by the doctrines of Vishishta Advaita. One of his quotes that I really like goes something like this: I want to find God, and because I want to find God, I have to find God with other people. I do not believe I can find God alone. If I did, I would be running into the Himalayas to find God in some cave there. But since this is not true, and I know that I have to find God with other people, I have to take them with me. Alone, I cannot come to Him. It is astounding how some of these principles of equality are found in Gandhi's teachings.
I just realized how that relates to Vivekananda on gender equality. All nations have attained greatness by paying proper respect to women, and those which have not have never attained greatness and nor will in the future. Manu, a legendary Hindu lawgiver, says, "Where women are respected, there the gods delight, and where they are not, their all efforts and works come to naught."
Another great leader is Martin Luther King Jr., who fought against racism and injustice. He was one of the people who changed America's perspective of treating everyone equally. He delivered a speech to a nation that was caught up in bitter struggles over civil rights, social and economic injustice. He wanted a society that would judge his children not by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. This has become one of the most common representation of King as a symbol for the fight of racial equality. He was so successful in changing America because of his ability to mobilize people in great numbers. He was also able to encourage people fight for racial equality. If you think about how to address inequality, it's because of his dimensions that's missing today is the one that has become the mass mobilization.
Malala Yousafzai was also a key person who fought for equality for girls in education. When she was younger, Malala loved school so much, but when she was 11, her school got taken away by the Taliban, and all girls in Mingora, Pakistan were not able to go back to school. Malala was devastated and sad that she was not able to see her friends, learn, and go back to school, and she knew she had to make a difference. In 2012, she made her first speech on behalf of girls going back to school, but that made her a target. She got shot in the head afterwards for fighting for equality. She got shot in the head for her country and girls. After her recovery, she made several speeches in England and Pakistan about girls going back to school. And in 2014, she won the Nobel Peace Prize for girls going back to school and girls' equality at age 17, making her the youngest person to win the prize.
But what's the message of equality, and what does it mean to all of us here?
The world today, though, seems to be progressing rapidly in the field of technology, still is struggling, or rather going backward, in the terms of principles such as compassion, treating everyone equally, and uplifting the unfortunate. A good example of this could be the current situation with Ukraine and Russia. The message of this effort is to constantly remind ourselves of these principles of life and make our every effort to stand by them.
It is an invitation to the world to make these practices part of their daily actions and lives. This is why it's extra special for us to be part of VT Seva, which stands for compassion, equality, service to mankind, and service to God. I am so proud of everything we do here, and with our mission and purpose, VT Seva is teaching us to live by the practices taught to us by Bhagavad Ramanuja.
I agree, absolutely.
I agree too. That is absolutely correct.
We should all be proud of what we do here at VT Seva.
I'm getting goosebumps just listening to this. I can't imagine how it would be when you actually visit it. This will definitely be on my list of destinations next time I go to India.
I agree. The statue of Ramanujacharya is truly an inspiration and certainly reminds us of all the time Swami has taken to spread equality 1,000 years ago. These days, many leaders and cooperates speak on the equality, diversity, and inclusion. And in some cases, this is still a dream. It is so inspiring and great to learn about Ramanujacharya, who stood and fought and achieved equality 1,000 years ago. Thank you, Raghuji, Praveelji, and the entire Pregna team for enlightening us.
Moving on to the last presentation of this UTSAV, we want to give an example of our youth chapter motto, which is Own Your Adventure. To demonstrate this, Ovia, Yashi, Laya, and Akshara have created this medley and choreographed it to present it here. Please welcome them onto the stage.
We begin with the girl, lost, trying to find her way and own her adventure. Today she will by dancing through the kingdoms of Rajasthan and the suburbs in Mumbai and learning about different cultures to own her adventure.
Muredana Mukunda Saridana Sananda Muredana Mukunda Saridana Sananda Muredana Mukunda Saridana Sananda Puvayar meedu kannivadu muraya Paavayin nenju dinam peegintra piraya The deep end, trying to swim but you're sinking. I don't know the reason, just needed something different. Don't gotta hear what they speaking, no, no, don't gotta take what they giving. Remember the meaning, this old folk song we be singing. I'ma raise my arms high, I'ma touch the skyline, I'ma sing it loud and loud. Let me be free. பழிவாழ பத்ர வட்டகம் கையிலேந்தும் தம்பூரட்டி நல்ல செடி திரும்பும் சென்னு காளி களி தொடங்கி அங்கனகரி பழிவாழ பத்ர வட்டகம் கையிலேந்தும் தம்பூரட்டி நல்ல செடி திரும்பும் சென்னு காளி களி தொடங்கி பழிவாழ 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 நகரி பழிவாழ பழிவாழ. जुल्फों से बांध लिए बादल, सीने पे से उड़ने लगा आंचल, मुझसे नैना मिला के मौसम होने लगे पागल, सबसे होके बेफिक्र नाचूं मैं आज छम 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 मैं नाचूं आज छम 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 छम.
Bye bye, bye bye. Oh, Balamori Rama, Balatari Rama, Balamori Rama, Balatari Rama, Balamori Rama, Balatari Rama, Balamori Rama, Balatari Rama. Bye bye, bye bye.
After seeing those dances and traveling all through India, she has learned how to use her voice to own her adventure. Thank you.
Thank you, team. What an awesome performance. And that was a perfect end to our awesome program, too. With that, we would like to thank you for allowing us to be your MCs. And hopefully we did a decent job. I would now like to welcome back our VT Seva Seattle Youth Team Presidents, Srihari and Anushka, to share a few words.
It's fine, I'll freestyle. Okay. You just go first.
We begin with the girl, lost, trying to find her way.
Thank you to coming to UTSAV. For those of you that are online, thank you so much for watching. And for those of you here physically, thanks for being such a great audience. We really appreciate everything from just sitting down quietly and enjoying the show. So thank you so much. And thank you, Nikhil, behind the boards here, making everything work as well.
Yeah. And the past 2 years have been really tough for all of us, and our morale is kind of low. But let's just celebrate how many kids we've empowered and given happiness to this year together as a team. It's epic and it's infectious. You know, the good type of infection. So always remember that the infection starts with you. So watch your actions because they become your habits. Watch your habits because they become your character, and watch your character because it becomes your destiny. Let's all work together to shape the destiny of all the underprivileged and blind children in India together. Let's be epic together. Thank you so much for joining us today in our virtual hybrid version of UTSAV 2022. I would now like to call on stage Shanti Auntie, Upendra Uncle, Sumati Auntie, and Chandra Uncle and Kiran Uncle on stage to say a few words. Chandra Uncle, you have to come. Thank you so much for how you guys all support us. We wouldn't have been able to do this without you all, especially Shanti Auntie, Kiran Uncle, Upendra Uncle, Sumati Auntie. You guys guide us every single week. And Chandra Uncle, we wouldn't have been able to do all the tech without you. So thank you so much.
It's just a team. Everybody is in it and they have taken it to the next level. So, VT Seva.
I would speak for VT Seva and Pragnya as well, as a teacher volunteer and also as a volunteer supporting you guys every step of the way. I wouldn't do anything else other than this. So thanks for inspiring us adults. You push us to do more. So I would, as a call to action, this is a call for all the volunteers out there, all the adults out there, children out there to come and join us. To do more, to build the youth for tomorrow, and also to support the community.
I'm echoing like what Shanti ji and Sumati ji and everyone here, like the youth especially, have spoken. It's really inspiring to see all the youth. And as I was mentioning in one of our WhatsApp groups, they have started like when they were like so little, and now it's 11th year and they've already like grown up, and we have so many volunteers, so many youth volunteers who are now adults, and they are like doing their masters or even doctorate degrees, and not just in Seattle, it's across 26 chapters in the US. So kudos to all those volunteers, kudos to all those youth, and kudos to all those parents who spend so much of time in shuttling in making them be part of so many of the volunteering events, making them part of such annual programs. And kudos to these amazing kids who have done an exceptional job, those MCs and the youth presidents here, the youth secretaries. It doesn't matter what the title is, but just being there to do good for someone, to to share their passion of serving is very inspiring and infectious, as Anushka was just mentioning. So let's keep doing this. Let's keep inspiring ourselves, and let's keep be inspired by so many of youth volunteers, so many of the good work that is happening across the world, which is essentially very much needed in these times.
Thank you, Kiranji. Thanks everyone for giving me the opportunity. It was an awesome time for me and to be part of this amazing group for the last 5 years. There are various ways that parents can contribute towards this organization. Of course, you can do your charitable donations. That's just one part of it. You can also volunteer in the organization. There are many awesome positions. You can volunteer your time, your kids' time, and you already know the results of the work that these kids here do. Every year, they take their performance, their capabilities to a next level, and it's amazing to see what these kids are able to do. Thank you so much to the UTSAV organization for giving me an opportunity to volunteer and participate.
Again, thank you everyone for enjoying the show. I hope you all had fun for the last 2 hours. I think all the youth have spent a lot of time preparing for this, executing this, and we have our national level heroes also here. Kiranji, who's the national level president with Seva, and then Shantiji, who is our national level secretary. They have been a strong pillars for our Seattle community So, thankful for that. And we also have our UTSAV youth secretary or president, alumni, and Pranuti, and she's in the back doing all of the Zoom session and stuff like that. So again, thank you so much. This was one of the and last but not the least, I would like to thank all the parents who have brought their kids here, and of course our tech whiz Nikhil out there. Nikhil, come on here, man, come here. Nikhil and Chandra, they are a team, father and son team. So they have been put in a lot of, n number of hours, setting up all of this back end for Zoom session and all the smooth transitions and the programs and stuff like that. So big kudos to both of them. Thank you so much. Yeah, and so I think this is not the after a COVID. This is like first time we have again done a hybrid model. So this has been successful so far. So we'll continue to do this, and hopefully you can tune in, as Kiranji everybody mentioned. UTSAV is a national organization, so wherever you are, whichever city you are, please get involved, please get engaged. That's how you make a change to the community. That's how you inspire others. That's how you contribute back to the community. So please get involved. And oh yeah, and Pranuti is mentioning here that you go to vtsworld.org. You can sign up as a volunteer in your respective cities. So please sign up. And similarly, Pragna also. It's our sister organization which teaches a lot of core values which we want to see in our children growing up. So please sign up for Pragna. Please sign up for UTSAV, and we'll see you all again next year. Thank you.
Just one more request, like for all the people who are seeing from the hall, stay back. We'll take some pictures. And I also wanted to take this opportunity to thank Dr. Reed, who has come all the way and sharing so much of very insightful information about mental health. And I also want to thank Srinivasji, who's been our backbone. All this started with Srinivasji initiating a very casual conversation about, hey, how about we do an annual program. It all started 11 years back with empowering about 60 children, and now we are empowering about 520 children. The more we do, the more we realize that the need is more. So I hope next year we'll be able to do 720 or 1,000. The count is endless. Let's keep inspiring ourselves more. So please stay back. Let's take some selfies and nice pictures. Celebration.
जो दिल से लगे उसे कह दो हाय 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 हाय, जो दिल ना लगे उसे कह दो बाय 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 बाय। आने दो दिल में आ जाने दो, कह दो मुस्कुराहट को हाय 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 हाय। जाने दो दिल से चले जाने दो, कह दो घबराहट को
Love you zindagi, love you zindagi, love you zindagi, love me zindagi.
Small girl, big world, they might say to you, but I won't live by someone else's rules. When they knock me down, my crew will pick me up. Yeah, we keep each other strong with love, love. All my girls unite, rocking side by side, watch my team work every day and night. Yeah, we're shining with our teamwork. Oh, my girls unite. No, we do it right when my team work every day and night. Yeah, we're shining.
रब दा सहारा कहंदा ए मेरा